Good evening, everyone. I apologize for the delay, the technical difficulties, and everything else that is going on, but we are finally just about ready to start this race. Tonight, we get to have AzureCale versus Kyuketsuki in an elimination match as part of the SG Live tournament. This is going to be Jets of Time, so it's Chrono Trigger randomized with a boss randomizer tacked on top of it. We're going to see some random bosses and some crazy things going on. It looks like the runners are just about ready, so we're going to get started here in just a moment. Hope everyone is doing well. We've seen a couple of people guessing what the starting characters will be. We see some people saying it's going to be Marl Frog, Robo Chrono. I'm sad, I'm not sure that no one's guessing Magus, because having Magus available would be kind of awesome. Let's see, I need to do this. And we will be underway. As the timer counts down, we will be getting started. We wait with bated breath. And there we go. Except one of the runners isn't going. Do we already have a... I'm going to see if I can't get everyone synced up, because we apparently still had a bit of a stream delay going on. So one moment, we'll get the tracking and everything caught up in just a second as we wait for Kyuketsuki's stream to catch up. I'm using their in-game timers, and that should have us close. As we have Robo and Marl. Not Marl, Robo and Ayla as our first people. And immediately everyone dashes off for power tabs. Oh no, now Azure, you've dashed off for power tabs, but you haven't done the shopping at the store. You didn't buy mid tonics, you didn't buy ethers. Why would you go in the store to get the power tab and not check to see if there was any equipment? That one I don't get. But we do see a desert run to go hopefully find a weapon for Robo. For those who are in the Jets community, there has been much to do about finding a crisis arm. And we see early +3 power tabs. Power tabs can be anywhere from +2 to +4. Magic tabs can be +1 to +3. Speed tabs are still just +1, but max speed is only 16. So we're seeing some extra gear picked up in Dinodoro. Looks like a dream gun and a power scarf. So a little bit of extra damage coming out. I did not see what was dropping in the desert. Kyuketsuki taking an early fight in Dinodoro to hopefully get more tech points. This is a new routing decision that's been discussed. If you can survive this fight, you get more tech points thanks to the tech point doubling that occurs when you learn a tech. I did see on Azure screen, we did a little bit of shopping. I didn't see what got picked up. no one having gone and checked Carpenter or Snail Stop yet. We're just picking up some gear. And Azure is taking fights with the Roly-Polies in Guardia Forest. So we'll begin stuff. Apparently a magma hand was available somewhere. I don't know if that was a desert find or if that was purchased in the shop, but still, having a magma hand early, that's going to be a lot of damage coming through. And so we see Kiss. I didn't catch Robo's first tech. Pointing out that it did come from Desert. Getting the free shelters in the store. We see mid-tonks and ethers. And buying a good amount of ethers. Not quite 99, but enough. Ethers, mid-tonks, and shelters still missing out on the revives and heals, but there's plenty of stores to go find those on Caillou's side. AzureCale picking up more power tabs. We see some more chests. So just trying to go around, pick up some equipment, make these early fights a little bit easier. And we've got Boogie Learn, so that means Laser Spin has been picked up by Robo. We had Charm by Alo, so you can charm extra equipment. If you run into things like the Golems as your randomized boss, they can now be stopped. So early Boogie, really powerful. And we see our first check of a key item at the Snail Stop. We have a Prism Shard. And Kyuketsuki says, no, I don't have Marl, ergo I don't need a Prism Shard yet. That's a good save of 9,900 gold. As we will now head over to the Carpenter. Nothing for sale in the store on the AzureCale side. We get our first item that is picked up. There is no way to avoid picking up this item unless you just really wanted to reset without saving. And it's a gate key! So we've got early magic for a team that has no magic. But you do have access to a character on top of the Dactyl Nest who will start off at level 15 and with 3 techs already unlocked. So you could go up there, find a Luca, a Magus, something with some power behind it. If they need magic unlocked, you've already got early access to magic. But for now, we're just seeing more dips for more tabs, more speed tabs, more magic tabs. Just generally trying to get power without having any risk so far. Kyuketsuki does seem to be heading into 65 million BC to pick up. I'm assuming this is to pick up the character. Because unlocking magic at this point doesn't actually get you anything, although doing the whole end of time jaunt does make the end of time available for later when you do have magic. Okay, I was about to say, Kai, where are you going? But you just went to go heal, not to actually go unlock magic. That makes me feel a little bit better. As we pop back out, still have the option of returning back to prehistory to get a character, or finally have someone take a step into the cathedral, get us a third person, a little bit of menu speeding to get the battle speeds and such set up. In the end, the difference right now really is Azure spent some time in Desert, got a magma hand for his trouble. Kyuketsuki took a couple of different fights, might have a slight tech point advantage, which only really matters because Robo and Ayla don't have to have magic unlocked. Although now you have magic unlocked very quickly anyway. So, really, it's Azure has a magma hand in exchange for his time spent in the desert. That's the difference at this point. And Kyuketsuki is deciding, gonna go ahead, dive into the cathedral. We're gonna see our first step in. And our first, quote-unquote, real fight. And AzureCale also heading back to 680, so I expect that to mean that he also is running back to the cathedral. No one wanting to make the early Dactyl Nest climb. We do see charms on the Nagaets are dropping shelters, so you get free shelters if you want to waste your charms or use your charms. But Laser Spin one-shotting this room. There is a 3 fights here that you typically take, and Laser Spin will one-shot all of them. Oh, it didn't one-shot. We had one Nagaet survive. Oh, no. I was about to say we had one Nagaet survive. That's the cutscene as Frog joins the party. So, right now, you have 2 of the 3 characters required for quests. You know that the Prism Shard is available, so finding Marl might seem like it's important because Prism Shard is readily available. But you could decide, no, I don't like Frog in this party, or I don't want Robo because Robo's slow. And so maybe you decide just to pop out now and go climb Dactyl Nest now instead of earlier. But knowing that Prism Shard's available, I would expect to see both of them at least attempt to clear the cathedral until we find out what boss is there and that it's absolutely terrible. Cisa pointing out that they would be amused if Laser Spin left Nagaets alive because they're weak to all elements. No, that was just your friendly announcer having absolutely no vision and sense of awareness whatsoever. And a terrible set of chests. 2 heals and an ether. That's like 80 gold in 3 chests. However, the bromide being worth a speed tab is priceless. Alright, so Frog and company are attacking the henchmen on Azure's side. Kyuketsuki deciding, I will use Laser Spin again. More Laser Spins to get through quicker. That fight just a little bit shorter. And extending that lead another 10-15 seconds. Doesn't seem like much now, but the last time that I watched these 2 race, the final time difference was under 3 minutes. So every second today is going to count. Every second is going to count. Some more terrible chests. If you were counting on these chests to have good gear for you, you are very disappointed in this seed. We are seeing, though, that Robo, being the slow boy that he is, does make all these fights just a little bit more annoying, as you have to wait and wait and wait for that ATB bar to fill. Something in there was dropping an ether. We see Froglord's heal, so you have AoE healing at the very start of the game. Makes mid-tonics far less impressive. Unfortunately, I think that also means that if the final boss here in Cathedral is something like Nizbel or Hecarim, The sum total of your possible damage is Robo with Laser Spin. And that is one of the risks, so hopefully both characters will make a save here, because unlike when it was a guaranteed Yakra, this is not a free fight. Alright, we see mid-ethers, or mid-tonics and ethers being sent out, bringing everyone up to full. Getting ready for our first randomized boss. For those who are not used to the boss randomizer, the way it works, all single target bosses can be shuffled amongst each other, with a few minor exceptions in specific locations. And then all dual target bosses, so things like the Mega Mutants, Terra Mutants, and the Zombor on the bridge, all can be randomized with each other. You can't cross-do yet. And now we have synchronized golems, but Frog and Ayla and Robo, no boogie. So we just wait for the combo tech, we boogie, and Golem's gonna get down tonight. And now everyone can just go to town. And taking the time to heal with Frog, not necessary. It stopped. It can't do anything. Alright, so we're seeing 184 from Ayla. We're seeing 117 on Azure side from Ayla, but slightly higher damage from Robo. I think this is Kyuketsuki has already spent some of his power tabs on Ayla, and I don't think Azure has popped his. So you're going to see a slightly slower fight. As Kyuketsuki gets the first burp, there's the second burp, mere seconds behind. As Frog Squash and Cure 2 are learned by Frog. That is a terrible starting tech set. You have Heal, Frog Squash, Cure 2. You can't do any damage, and all your heals are way overpowered for this point in the game. I would be shocked at any character not replacing Frog as soon as they climb the castle. Marl might not replace Frog. That would be like the Marl, who knows Aura, Cure 2, Life, might not replace Frog. Everyone else replaces Frog, probably without question. Oh, yeah. Frog is done. Magus has appeared. Frog is going far, far away, I think. Which makes me sad, because Frog is amazing. You just have to get him strong enough and find a hero medal and the Grand Leon. AzureCale did not swap out Magus for Frog. That is interesting. And taking the time not to swap out the character has bought a little bit of time for AzureCale to jump ahead. Neither runner checking Xenon Bridge. And Magus not joining Azure's party. That is interesting. The bridge can be scary. With the new boss randomizer, you're very likely to run into a boss that requires magic kill, but you have Magus. Magus, because you found him in the castle, already knows at least one tech. There is all of, what, 2 techs that he could learn that wouldn't just basically make the bridge a free fight. And that would be Magic Wall, because it doesn't do damage, and Anti-Life, because it requires revives. Okay, Magus has joined the party now, as Azure goes into Hecarim's cave while Kyuketsuki goes and climbs the Dactyl Nest to go find another character, maybe looking for a Robo replacement? Because I'm trying to... If you found Marl, I don't think you replace anyone. If you find Luca, maybe you replace Magus with Luca because you can unlock magic. If you find Chrono, do you replace Robo with Chrono until you find like a Crisis Arm or something? We do see Kyuketsuki is managing to get the ladders, well, got one of 2 ladder skips climbing Dactyl Nest, while Azure is taking on the Jin and Octopi. These fights all give 20 to 25 tech points. Speaking of the first tech I saw on Magus was Anti-Life. Coming here at this point will make it where Magus can learn just about 2/3 of his tech tree by the time you complete the dungeon, as Marl is found on top of Dactyl Nest. Unless Marl knows Ice too. Okay, we are replacing Robo with Marl. Things I don't expect. Prism Shard is available. Akuheish is correct. You could go find go buy the Prism Shard and do the Prism Shard quest. Desert is available if Marl knows Ice. We haven't even looked at Marl's techs. As Kyuketsuki heads off to unlock magic, AzureCale is finishing up the last fight before the boss in Hecarim's cave. Okay, and I just saw the second tech on Magus's screen was Magic Wall. So the 2 techs that I said, oh, that wouldn't allow you to just wipe the bridge, happens to be both of the techs learned by Magus. I'd say Commentator cursed, but technically that decision was made before I said it. Robos learned Shock. Ayla learned Triple Kick. Magus learned Gibberish, which looked like Lightning too. So you've got a little bit more magic in your pack now. As we see, the Golem boss, the most dangerous boss in the game, has revealed itself at the back of Hecarim's cave. And we see Azure making sure, using all of the lightning in his arsenal to take down this boss, just because it is so dangerous. No, it's not dangerous at all. Given time, the boss will just run away, but if you do manage to get the kill, you get a significant amount of XP and tech points. Kyuketsuki is saying, I'm taking Marl to Dinadoro Mountain with Ayla and Magus, and not Robo. And we still haven't seen Marl's techs. One of the techs appears to be Ice 1, and I was not paying enough attention on the screen to be able to see what the rest of it was. I guess Marled is slightly faster than Robo. And Ice does more damage than Laser Spin? Is the logic here? Looks like Cure 2 and Life 2 were the other two techs. And Azure trying his hardest to make it through the Golem boss fight and get the rewards. And we see some ethers being used. Trying to get Ayla up to triple kick MP to get one last triple kick. There's the kill. 69 tech points coming in. We have Area Bomb learned. We have Magus learns Fire 2 and Dark Bomb. So getting the double, technically triple tech points on Azure's side is going to put Magus much deeper into his tech tree. While Kyuketsuki is probably going to be okay with having Lightning in just a bit. Alright, a Robo's Ribbon, which is better than it was in Vanilla. Robo Ribbon now gives +3 speed, Sunspec effect, and Auto Barrier to Robo. But it does take up an accessory slot, whereas in Vanilla it didn't. Still, if you're going to have Robo in your party, having a Robo Ribbon's like having a free Sunspecs. And it's slightly better. We see Revives, Ethers, and Mid-Tonic Spot. I have not seen anyone selling heals. We do see Kyuketsuki taking extra fights on the climb in Dinador Mountain. If you know the skips, I want to say all but the initial 2 fights are skippable. AzureCale making sure to take the time to pet the validation cat. So Azure's run is now valid. I don't think we'll be seeing Kyuketsuki pet the cat anytime soon. I seem to remember he believes the cat is a demon and is the cause for all the pain and suffering that we have in Jets of Time. But he does think that mountains are nice and gets a magic tab for his trouble. And Azure is going to be checking the Xenon Bridge fight now. The interesting, if you save outside the castle, you are able to, if you find out that this is a terrible item, you can skip it. Like Jerky. I would kind of expect to see a reset, and there it is. Jerky's nice, but it doesn't help you win a race, probably. There's not much for these particular characters that the Jerky would give you as a key item that would just make or break your run. I mean, a prism dress might be nice. Azure is thinking about doing the desert, but Magus does not know ice yet. So he will not have the ability to fix the defensive issues of the Ret Knight. Crisis Arm would be nice off of Jerky. I want to say Crisis Arm isn't part of the Jerky pool. Raster Cecil is the creator, and he could probably correct me if, when I'm wrong. But for some reason I wanted to say Crisis Arm wasn't part of the pool. But Rainbow and Wonder Shard are, so it would make sense if Crisis Arm was. But for some reason I want to say I remember seeing that it wasn't. Oh, Cecil saying Crisis Arm should come from the Jerky. Okay, I stand corrected. As we see the Ret Knight fight going on, no magic available, so higher defenses and less hit rates, which kind of matters for Robo, because Robo can't hit things on a good day. While Kyuketsuki is taking on Masa and Mune, trying to find that, get that 1,000 damage in that's required to get through the first phase, and then we'll see a randomized boss for stage 2. Cecil is pointing out that your commentator is incorrect. The Crisis Arm is a potential reward. Okay, maybe Jerky would be worth it then. And Anti-Life being cast as a non-elemental attack that almost glitches out the boss. As Magus drops down, having given his life to do a significant amount of damage. And there go the legs. We might see another anti-life come out to make sure the core dies. No, just auto attacks instead. Runs away when the core is lost, so you did get the kill. That's going to be an extra 2,000 tech points and 2,000 experience and 20 tech points. And just as Red Knight falls, Masa and Mune are separate and powerless apart. Another arm for Robo, a weapon for Magus, and a Lapis is nice, while we find Yakra the 13th sitting atop Denador Mountain. So with Yakra the 13th, you do have to worry about Chaos coming in, but the Chaos attack went on Magus, who most likely still has his amulet equipped. And Ayla able to resist the Chaos attack. As Anti-Life now being used to kill Yakra. And looks like Life 2 being used to resurrect Magus. So I believe our strategy is going to be Anti-Life into Life 2 into Triple Kick. Unfortunately, both Life 2 and Anti-Life are fairly tech point or MP intensive. So we are having to see some MP come out to get the MP available. We have a Moonstone being dropped from the Forest Temple. So a little bit of sadness from Azure's side. Although with Marl is available on Dactyl Nest, Moonstone can be left in 65 million BC. If you ever find the pendant, the King's Trial now gives you 2 key items. More anti-life and life strats being used against Yakra, just trying to get that damage out. Chat pointing out, would have liked to have maybe seen who the boss was on the bridge, and that the enemy drops can be good on the bridge. It's very true. Xenon Bridge can be a source of good gear, decent progression. The problem is the whole Xenon Bridge sequence to get to the boss is 2 fights that take, call it 3 minutes. If it turns out the boss isn't something you can kill, then 3 minutes is lost, and that's a lot. That is not an insignificant amount of time. That said, I think at this point, Magus plus Marl should have enough magic to deal with any potential magic-only bosses on the bridge. AzureCale might actually have a little bit more trouble with it. Just because the party is less conducive to your magic-only bosses. Yakra defeated again, goes out in a blaze of needling glory. I mean, I guess it is also gory because those needles look like they'd hurt. But Yakra the 13th dies, We will be finding out what Dinodoro holds as Azure is making the climb to follow right behind in Kyuketsuki's footsteps. Also, declaring that mountains are nice and getting the extra magic tab. All right, time for a quick equipment check. We see that Azure has made the climb much quicker, skipping almost every fight on the mountain, and is going to be entering the boss chamber about the time Caillou leaves. So Azure is, in a sense, a full dungeon ahead, but it's a dungeon that didn't drop anything good. Reptite Layer is still available to everyone. And I missed it. The pendant was on top of Dinodoro, so future access is available to everyone, or will be available to everyone once Dinodoro's cleared. So we've got Gate Key, we've got pendant. For everyone who's been saying there's been too much Magus Castle, we don't have a single part of that blade. As the boogie comes out again, Azure making quick work. Okay, fine. Someone points out, technically you have Frog, so you have part of Magus Castle Go mode. You are technically correct. I said we didn't have a piece of the blade. And a quick stop and a few hits, and Massa is done already. Pointing out that yes, the Prism Shard is looking better and better. It's also expensive. And Kyuketsuki's decided, nope, don't care about the Prism Shard or anything, or the desert. We're going to go straight to the future. Cave Woman is thrown in jail for stealing a pendant that probably technically belongs to her. Just because, I mean, Ayla is Marl's ancestor, and presumably the pendant is made of the dreams, made of part of the Mamma Machine, which is made of the redstone, which Ayla has, so in a sense, the pendant should belong to Ayla in the first place. There's your deep dive into Chrono Trigger lore for the day. We see some quick menuing from AzureCale, trying to get the MP onto Ayla to be able to do triple kicks, as Dark Bomb doing about 550 damage. Shock, for much more MP, is doing 570 damage. But Yakra the 13th dies. Azure is going to get his pendant, and expect to see us sync up somewhat in the prison escape sequence. Deep dives and questions from CT Lore. Who buried Cyrus in Chorus? Seeing as how when he was killed, presumably the body fell to the bottom of that waterfall? That's a good question. I guess Glenn, having become Frog, could have done it. And we see Kyuketsuki has said, I don't have a chrono. I will not be saving Fritz because I can't get my drugs out of it. No 10 free mid-ethers for Caillou today. And an immediate pop. To 1000 AD for AzureCale, and here we go, getting ready to enter into prison as Ayla is about to finish breaking out of prison. You chose not to turn yourself in, and so they just accept it. It's like, you're suspected of stealing the pendant. Please turn yourself in. No. Okay then, never mind. And AzureCale also saying that cave women belong in jail. Ayla is sent in, which is the only logical choice because she's the only one who should be able to break out. If the guards were smart at all, they would confiscate everyone's weapons. Like another jailbreak sequence that we don't ever see in Jets of Time because we coded it out because no one likes the Black Bird. Oh, you would still have spells, sure. But presumably you have to be able to defend yourself to cast spells, otherwise people in the Blackbird could join in because they know magic. We're by saying the original tombstone for Cyrus says Cyrus the fool who challenged Magus. Doesn't seem like something Frog would put on there. That's probably accurate. And we see Azure getting an unlucky guard turn is going to have to enter into an extra guard fight. I hadn't looked to see if there was any good stuff dropping from the guards or if it's just the pitiful 3 tech points. Barriers. So barriers are 2,000 gold a pop and are kind of useful in a few situations, including fighting Son of Sun, who we will soon have access to. Kyuketsuki having a potentially better team for fighting the Dragon Tank with Marl available, being able to cast Ice for damage. But I don't think Kyuketsuki's Magus knows Dark Bomb. AzureCale's does, and Dark Bomb will do massive damage to the Dragon Tank, but unfortunately gets into a fight with one of the shields. We don't see this fight often. The trick is you have to attack the shield while it's open. You'll do massive damage in one shot. If you attack while the shield is still up, you will get counterattacked for moderate damage. We're back to the future with Kyuketsuki getting ready to hop in. We do have the early pit charge pendant flag set for this tournament. So as soon as you get to the future, you have access to all the sealed doors and sealed chests. And that typically means you have access to some pretty good gear. We saw a Zodiac cape drop. That's a good piece of defensive gear with some extra magic defense behind it. Picking up some free mid-ethers. I noticed the shop in 2300 does not have much in it, which makes sense seeing as how they have nothing. You wouldn't think they'd even have a shop or know what money is. And a very disappointing sealed room with just a couple of shields in it. So we see the triple kick doing about 200 damage a pop. Dark Bomb is probably going to do about 400 damage. 450. The head is already done. Akuheish begging for people to go to Genodome. Genodome without Dark Matter or Dark Mist seems like it might be painful. The Dragon Tank dropping not much. There's Dark Mist. Dark Mist made available for Azure's Magus. I think that Kyuketsuki's Magus is about 2 techs behind as we find a Luca. Dancing, laughing Luca. It probably depends on what tech she knows. Whether or not she immediately replaces Magus. Replacing Ayla. That would be interesting. Kind of counting on the full magic comp and immediately hopping to the end of time to go unlock magic for her. And talk about the Mad Lad change characters in Proto. We have some issues with Protodome where it will soft lock if you change characters or there's an increased chance of a soft lock. I feel like if you do the swap on the screen that it opens for you, you're probably okay. It's if you open the menu to do it afterwards. Like, you don't swap in the character, you check the text, realize that it's good, then try to swap in the character, then you have issues. And Ayla is back in the party replacing Magus. I did not see Caillou check text, but may just be accepting. We've got magic early. Luca's gonna learn Flare, and we're gonna have the super powerful all-girl team at some point in time. And Azure has decided his first step is going to be to run into Son of Sun, and Kyuketsuki is going for the power tab on Death's Peak. Okay, I was going to say, what is on Death's Peak that you care about right now? But the answer is a free power tab. See if we get a look at any text here. We see barriers and magic wall being cast to reduce the damage that will come in from Flare. Son of Sun requires 10 hits on the correct flame, which is chosen at random after each roulette shuffle. Azure finds it on flame number 1. So, finding it on flame 1 means you're going to take a Flare. You're probably going to take the shadow attack, but you're almost guaranteed to get all 10 required hits in before it does another roulette shuffle. So long as no one dies to the shadow beam. And we see all the magic tabs being spent on Luca. I'm watching the Son of Sun fight. If chat happened to see him check text, did we see if Luca had anything good yet? And Kyuketsuki also coming to the Son of Sun fight. There's the first roulette shuffle for Kyuketsuki. No magic wall available here. Does mean we'll be taking full damage from the flare. Charm being used as an attack on the flame. I don't know that that actually counts as one of the 10. Flare comes out. How much damage does it do? 250 damage to Marl. And the item is the bent sword. Oh no, here we go again. And instead, with the bent sword, Azure's like, all right, I'm gonna go check another character, see who's here. No one's done Eris Dome yet, which is surprising. Both Azure and Kyuketsuki should have plenty of damage to deal with the Guardian. I wouldn't think Eris Dome would be making people feel anxious. We see Robo Tackle unlocked, so if we find a Crisis Arm, Robo Tackle becomes stupidly powerful. Azure debating, do I want Luca? Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. The answer is no. Azure says, I'm fine, I'm not going to go unlock magic. We'll stick with this team. And then he changes his mind and goes back in. And Kyuketsuki charm the center after the 10 hits were in just to get another item. So both runners now with a bent sword. We are technically one step away from go mode with needing the bent hilt to be able to go through Magus's castle. And here comes the Eris Dome check. Both runners going into Eris Dome at mere seconds apart. Dreamstone would not give us go mode because we don't have the ruby knife yet. Soon, maybe. The most evil of rats has been seen. As the Guardian fight comes up, the way the Guardian works in Jets of Time, the two side bits have 500 HP. The center has roughly 4,000 HP, I believe, and is immune to fire. Magus with Dark Mist making one turn damage on the bits, clearing out the problem. Kyuketsuki having to use double attacks to get through. And Ice 1 is not enough, but an auto attack from Ayla finishes it up, so this will be a much quicker fight for AzureCale, being able to get things done in one round, basically. That rat is more than just a statue. It is the source of frustration of many a Chrono Trigger player and the end of many a casual player runs. Because, oh, look, it's a JRPG with typical JRPG mechanics. You better have really good reflexes to catch this rat. And we see a laser spin coming out. That's going to be some pretty good damage. Only 100, but still decent AoE damage. Now a flare comes out. Azure, you're going to be very close. Okay, barely catching the rat. The closer you catch the rat to the end, the better it actually is, because the rat runs slightly slower than you do. So you actually save time by catching him later. Got a big hand for Robo. Everyone give Robo a big hand. I still think that if you know the passwords, you should be able to skip the Guardian fight completely. Void Blade, Brave Sword, a Terra Arm. Okay, so we have the second best weapon for Robo. To be fair, saying the team looks like jerks because it's like there was no food in there. We could totally get you some food from another time, but instead we need you to go plant the seed. The only time period that they knew they had access to at this point was to go back in time to 1000 AD, where the Chancellor is waiting to catch them. And if you go back through that gate, the Chancellor is still there waiting to catch you, so you can't actually go there. So they couldn't go get more food from anywhere. Now, once they get the epoch and stuff, yeah, why are you not performing food carrying services? And for your troubles of finding a lovely seed, you get a bite key. No, we get Thomas Pop. So we get soda. And saying, oh, they're going to beat Lavos and invalidate the whole time period. What's the point of going and giving them food? But what if the future refuses to change? Honestly, the future refuses to change sequence gave me nightmares as a kid. Alright, we are seeing a quick check of Frogsborough to see who's present. It is Chrono, which means that Azure now knows Marl is on the Dactyl Nest and that there's a Prism Shard available. And we have found Anu! We are fighting Anu! All praise the new! The Robo Tackle comes in. The tackle is for 673 damage. The new falls down and goes new. And no good drops. Oh no, everyone, all the new puns drop new thing. Alright. With Thomas Pop, do we see Kyuketsuki decide to go to Genodome? Nope, he is going to... I'm not sure where he's going. Did Kyuketsuki not complete Genodome? Or not Genodome? Hecarim Cave? I guess not. Doing Hecarim Cave after getting access to the future does give you access to a double sealed chest. So you will get to see a couple of items here that Azure will 99% not go back and get. As AzureCale goes into the Reptite layer, I feel like Kyuketsuki is being trolled a little bit with his all-girl team, seeing as how Marl still has not unlocked Ice 2. I don't think Luca has Fire 2. So there is no true AoE magic available for Kyuketsuki. And that's making some of these fights take much longer. Yeah, Robo Ribbon was present at the end of the Hecarim Cave. And seeing as Kyuketsuki is not using Robo, that Robo Ribbon is a dud. But you do have the Golden Boss and 69 tech points, which maybe unlocks a good tech for either Marl or Luca. Alright, we see all the power tabs being split between Ayla and Robo. Magic tabs were split between Robo and Magus. A little bit more damage from Magus, a lot more healing from Robo when we get Heal Beam and Cure Beam unlocked. And some speed tabs on Robo because Robo is a slow boy. Everyone's favorite item, the Seraph Song, just showed up on Kyuketsuki's screen as Dalton Plus has appeared in the Reptite layer. There is not much good for this fight. On the plus side, Robo Tackle and Triple Kick will only result in Iron Orbs for counterattacks, meaning that so long as you keep someone available to do some healing, this fight might not be too bad. And we see the Lapis coming out, it looks like. Looks like it's going to be trying to get in 2 triple kicks and 2 robo tackles before dropping the Lapis. The next attack in sequence from Dalton Plus is a Wind Slash that will kill Ayla or Robo at this point. There's the Lapis. So you're good for the next attack, but the attack after this will one-hit KO anyone except possibly Max Health Robo. And AzureCale going for it says, I'm going to drop the anti-life and try to get the kill before that attack comes out. Gets about 2,000 damage, but it's not enough. Here's the one-hit KO. It is on Ayla, who does survive. And the Golem Boss is being summoned. Except it's not. So Dalton has fallen. Magus gets no tech points out of this, but you're just looking to maybe get a Dark Matter unlocked for him eventually. And the item we get here is a Grand Leon. Someone get your frog and put him back in the party. Kyuketsuki is going and dropping off the Moonstone. Still does not have Marl, but is in the right time period to pick her up. And does seem to be making that play. I expect we're going to see Marl picked up straight into the King's Trial for 2 items. Mian is joining in on the Genodome chant, hoping to see someone go for a very frustrating in-game dungeon. As Kyuketsuki finds the Golem Boss and will proceed to quite literally wipe the floor with him. Yes, Prism Shard is in the Snail Stop. Both characters have seen it, both have not bought it yet, but it is known to be there. And Azure knows that Marl is here because he has already found Chrono in Frog's Burrow. So this is a known play by Azure, with a known outcome. And a nice use of pause buffering to get the first ladder skip. Skipping a required fight and almost missing the chest. Goes back for a Frenzy Band. Golem Balls is dropped on Kyuketsuki's side, and we will see the Robo Ribbon picked up and a slight frown of frustration, I'm fairly certain. Marl has been subbed in. Which does mean that Prism Shard is coming. Kyuketsuki has a couple of options. Looks like Kyuketsuki may be heading... I think Kyuketsuki was thinking Prism Shard, but had not bought it. Now we see some healing and ethering up. I'm guessing prepping for a Xenon Bridge check. One thing to note for newer runners, if you come to do the Xenon Bridge check, you talk to the chef, you get the little cutscene. At the end of that cutscene, you are guaranteed a full heal and mana restore, just because it is a forced cutscene that takes you to Xenon Bridge. Anywhere you get a forced cutscene like that, you also get a full heal, because the game recognizes you might not have thought to heal before all of this. So, a lot of times, particularly in vanilla jets, you see people do Cathedral straight into Xenon Bridge. You don't have to shelter anything when you leave the Cathedral because you're going to get a full heal as you start the Xenon Bridge fight. And Kyuketsuki is now diving into the desert. Also, Kyuketsuki deciding no jerky is not a good enough reward to deal with the bridge. At this point, just kind of taking a look at items across the seed, we are... Kyuketsuki is basically a missing dungeon behind. However, said missing dungeon is likely nothing... The key item he's missing is the Grand Leon. Grand Leon is not particularly important if you're not going to use Frog. So, you're not missing that much. It's just the fact that you have an extra check to do. The Chancellor, being a jerk as always, kicks everyone out of the trial room and also turns on the super spooky music. That's not suspicious at all. Neither is the unconscious guard or the doors guarded by snakes. Not suspicious in the slightest. Seeing some recommendations for the next tournament Genodome conveyor belt skip races. First to 10 successful skips wins. So we see coming into the desert slightly later is Kyuketsuki, and the boss fight going a little bit faster because you have enough. You have a lot more power behind everything. We see a mermaid cap is a nice drop, and the item from the prism shard is one clone. So we are a chrono trigger away from go mode through Black Omen. We are 2 items away from go mode into Black Toretto and Ocean Palace. And we are a broken hilt away from go mode through Magus's Castle. Kyuketsuki also getting the kill on the core, gets the double XP and tech points, which unlocks Ice 2 and Antipote 3, which also means Flare was unlocked. So the AoE magic power finally coming online for the all-girl team. So, long cutscenes aside, we're going to fight one more random boss. We have not seen a Slash or a Flea yet. Maybe we get there. No, it is a Nizbel. It is Nizbel 2 with a team with minimal magic power. You kind of hope that... I kind of wish that maybe you had Magus in your party still, instead of Robo. Although you do have Shock available. Shock will eventually lower his defenses. Nizbel 2 takes 3 lightning attacks to do a shock release, which is what will reset the defense to a point where Ayla can actually do real damage. Shock plus Ice looks to be doing about 1,400 damage, so it's not terrible. Now we're going to see an Ice Tackle for 981 damage. Really, the thing to do right now is to just get the shock. At this point, just get the shocks in. This third shock should set up the energy release. There it is. You're going to get decent damage, 140 damage to Ayla. But now you can actually do real damage with Robo Tackle or Triple Kick. But honestly, Shock is doing pretty good damage in and of itself. We see Kyuketsuki doing the same thing. He's dropped off his Sunstone. He's going to go pick up the Sunstone and go do his Prism Shard quest, because we did just see the Prism Shard picked up on Kyuketsuki's side. Ayla has found the Dino Tail, so the Dino Tail will make the elevator fights in Black Omen, or not Black Omen, in Ocean Palace easy if we end up in that go mode, but that is the one that is furthest away at the moment. This is what I want changed in 3.2. I want that cutscene cut. I don't know how you do it, but that cutscene needs to go away. One more sword piece does net Ocean Palace, yes, but it's through Magus's castle, and no one wants to go through Magus's castle today. So we're getting ready to go check our reward for having the Sunstone. Also, for newer runners, remember that you can go to Tabin, Luca's father, and you will get another item. And Kyuketsuki, you have failed the run. You have not pet the cat. Your run is invalid. But you can go get some extra items from Tabin for having the Sunstone, or if you ever forge the Masamune. We get a Chrono Trigger! That is Go Mode! So yeah, Guardian Castle basically just saying, the end of the game sits here waiting for you. Have fun with that. Azure is going to go look for his, the sealed chest since he's here. Gets a blue mail. That's actually a great find because that means the hexagon missed from Zeal 2 is no longer a death sentence for someone. And a prism helm for the Sunstone from Tabin. That is some really nice finds. Pointing out, not really digging Azure's team for Omen. For the mutants, this is a tough team. Because you don't have much magic damage. For if you find the Elder Lavo spawn or the regular Lavo spawn, and for Zeal herself, this is actually a really good team because you get a lot of single target damage. Killing of goons is not good. True. The goons, you kind of want flair. Shock might do enough damage. You're right. Shock is lightning elemental, and they are healed by both lightning and shadow. So Shock does heal them. Just tackle them repeatedly. Take your large robot and apply directly to their forehead. Azure, apparently thinking he doesn't have quite enough gear, is going on a bit of a sealed chest hunt. Haven't found much of anything good yet. The second sighting of Anu, although this one you don't get to fight. Oh, I was like, what are we doing? But no, we're saving so that if the item from the first chest is no good, you can check the second test. I believe that is a waste of time. You got a silver stud. Why are you resetting on a silver stud? Whoa, you got a red vest. You're going to reset again and go back and get a silver stud. Yeah, generally, I would say sealed chests are not worth the effort unless you are already passing by them. The fact that you have a prism helm and a blue mail, you've already succeeded in getting some gear. If you were to turn in the jerky, then you might get those 4 sealed chests because they're literally there as you're turning in the jerky. The blue pyramid, I think you should never go to. Yep, pointing out that this is go mode in an hour 15. You've done a lot of dungeons. You should be strong enough, particularly since the Black Omen route is typically the lower level route anyway. I would just say that you don't need the extra gear. Black Omen is going to have plenty of gear. You're likely to find some sort of stud in Black Omen. There's just so many chests for you to pick up there. Now, on the plus side, not that Azure knows this, he is a good 5-6 minutes ahead because he already has his go mode. Kyuketsuki is about to get his. But that's another 2 or 3 minutes that you could have saved if you didn't get the sealed chests. Taking the time to get the power tab. Will you make the run to the tree? Barely makes it to the tree. So able to pick up the tab and the run at the same time, saving a little bit of time that Caillou spent picking up that power tab earlier. And then some very tight checks as you go through the crackers. It is possible to skip this fight. It is possible to skip every fight on this mountain except for the except for the lava spawn boss. Typically, you'll see someone get the you'll do the fight on the cracker waterfall, but every other fight is skippable here. And so Azure gets 1 of 3 of the cracker skips. And there are actually 2 or 3 different ways to do that final skip. You can run into the center of the triangle, stop, let them do their little dance, and run out. If you get it at the right angle, you can make a straight run through the entire sequence. That one's a lot tighter. Alright, so Kyuketsuki has picked up his go mode. Pointing out that he didn't, because the Sunstone didn't charge. This is something else that happens, particularly to people that are not used to grabbing the Sunstone. When you pick up the Sunstone 2300 AD, you have to wait for the music to start playing again before you leave the room. Otherwise, you will not keep the stone. If you're really concerned about it, you can always check your inventory. Alright, some last-minute gear changes as we prepare for the spot of the lava spawn fight. Still power tabs being split fairly evenly between Ayla and Robo. And we have a Mega Mutant instead of a Lava Spawn. Mega Mutant is the easiest of the three mutants. One you don't typically see in Jets because its typical boss spot has been removed. Should be a fairly quick fight. Very stretchy hands, and we'll get to see some very humorous pushing and climbing of the shell. And we see Chaos is being cast. And even though it says Chaotic Zone Chaos, it is actually casting Obstacle, and Obstacle appears to be slow today. I also find it funny that even though it's casting Obstacle, it calls it a different name. Kyuketsuki getting ready to begin the Death Peak climb. Azure just finishing up the Mega Mutant. Expecting to see it disappear here very shortly. Mega Mutant does break out the status effects, which makes them slightly more dangerous. Mega Mutant is capable of being damaged by physical damage. Unlike the other mutants, it is not basically physical immune. So Ayla could be doing damage here to make the fight faster. On the plus side, not having the lava spawn here means that you have an extra chance of finding a lava spawn in Black Omen, which Azure's team will really like. Alright, so it is down. We are now going to see the pushing of the Stretchy Arm Mutant. Stretch Armstrong is in the game. That's true, we don't know what's on Xenon Bridge. And 12:55, or, not, sorry, 1:25:55 is the time that the cutscene for the Chrono Trigger began on AzureCale side. So we'll be able to get a decent gauge of how far behind Kyuketsuki is once his Mega Mutant is finished. Looks to be about a 2 or 3 minute difference at this point. Maybe a little bit more depending on how many skips Caillou is able to get or not get. And makes it into the triangle, but doesn't wait long enough to make it out. But with Flare, this fight is press A, win fight. And with the I was gonna say with the Silver Stud, Flare's half price, but Kyuketsuki doesn't have a Silver Stud. Only Azure bothered to go get a Silver Stud and doesn't have anything good to use it on because Dark Matter drops off in effectiveness from this point forward. So it looks like we're going to see one last bit of shopping, picking up the last second revives and shelters to make it through. Maybe a few more ethers. To make it through Black Omen, you need 7 shelters, I believe, if you want to shelter at every save spot after each boss. That does skip the first save spot right as you enter because there's not a boss there. But I believe 7 shelters get you a save and heal at every other save point. you are correct. Azure has not unlocked magic, so Luca is basically dead to Azure. And an unfortunate fall off the slippery ice bridge. Azure did pet the cat. He's pet the cat twice, so Azure definitely has my respect for being the person to pet the validation cat. Does have enough damage to take out the lasers. For newer runners, if you don't have an AoE tech that will deal 400 damage, you don't want to use AoE magic there. Because if you hit them and don't kill them in one hit, they will self-destruct and you will wipe your party. I would expect coming this route, you would throw all of your magic, or all your speed tabs, or maybe a couple of speed tabs onto Magus to get him max speed or near max speed to outrun everything. We see Fire 2 going down for 400 damage. And we're going to have a triple kick come out for another 900. So that's enough. And I'm guessing a Robo Tackle, which should do enough damage at this point to finish off. Yeah, Robo Tackle doing almost as much damage as triple kick for a fifth of the cost. Although Silver Stud is probably on Ayla, so half the cost. And we see on Kyuketsuki's side the obstacle slow hitting both Marl and Luca. Both slow members being even further slowed. So that's going to make for a difficult fight. But now Antipode 3 coming in for 2,500 damage. Ayla also not doing physical damage to the Mega Mutant, but is able to use Kiss to remove status effects. We have the panel gauntlet on Azure's side. As another Antipode 3 goes off on Kyuketsuki's side, another 2,800 damage or so, 2,900. Notice how the damage went up because Luca's no longer slowed. For those who are new to Chrono Trigger, any status effect on a character will reduce the damage you're able to deal. So being poisoned, being slowed, will cause that character to do less damage. It's not very intuitive that that's the case. Because things like sleep and chaos, well, obviously you do less damage. You're asleep and or not hitting things. But the same does hold true for slow and poison and technically stop. People enjoying climbing of the arm and saying they hope it doesn't get fixed. Can we get the mutant? Nope, no mutant skip for Azure. There are several skips in Black Omen. If you find some of the high-level runners, you'll wonder how many fights actually are in Black Omen because you won't see any for like 5 minutes at a time, as every fight gets skipped. Almost every fight. The few fights that aren't skipped, most of them are runnable. The exceptions being, obviously, the boss fights and the elevator fights, which, unfortunately, are still RNG. You will get between 0 and 3 fights on an elevator, and there's no way to control which in a normal run. Now, Pseudo-Arc is saying that the one-spot bosses have some fun animations in the lava shell. Does that mean that you're working on mixing one-slot bosses into two-slot boss locations? and presumably vice versa. And we see a shadow shadow attack onto the Ruminators. Unfortunately, the Ruminators are almost immune to shadow. What they are, you can damage them with is fire and ice. Even Magus's fire and ice too should do enough damage. Okay, so we've got a single and dual target boss shuffle coming in 3.2. That's awesome. And already pointing out that we're going to have a legacy boss rando for those who want to make sure they don't run into, like, mutants in the cathedral. So, I missed the timer on Kyuketsuki's climb. Got distracted by chat. But looks to be 7 to 8 minutes behind right now. That is not a unbreakable lead. A wipe to the Mammoth Machine is entirely possible if you try to go for it and don't get the kill. Zeal 2, if she decides she wants to kill you, might just kill you. And we do see some of the skips being executed here. That's 3 fights that Azure has just skipped and is able, not quite able to get the 4th one. But we will see some time made up as Azure enters the Black Omen shop, because Kyuketsuki is just going to walk up to these goons and say, flare, 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 and the fights are going to be easy and simple. All right, and for sale at the shop is amulets, full tonics, and mega elixirs. I expect to see let's see, we've got 1 amulet for free and a prism helm, so that's 2 sources of status protection. I would expect you sell enough to get 2 mega elixirs and you go. Don't maybe buy a few full tonics. At this point, you have plenty of gold. Okay, we are going to buy another amulet. And 3 mega elixirs, no full tonics. 3 mega elixirs feels like it's probably overkill. If you're working to improve your speed in Jets of Time, one thing you could do is just figure out what you need. Say you're like, oh, I need 2 mega elixirs and an amulet. Say that's what you really need. 1 to heal up before Mammoth Machine, 1 to heal up after the halation on Zeal 2. And then you want an amulet to block obstacle on Terra Mutant if you run into it. Which is reasonable. That's 150,000 gold you need. Only sell enough stuff to get your 150,000 gold. Any more gold than what you absolutely have to spend, and any gold you earn past this point is completely useless. Obstacle is slow this seed. We have seen a time hat, I believe. I know we've seen a sight cap, which will prevent chaos, which is also kind of nice. But I think we have a time hat, so you could get obstacle protection with just the gear that's been dropped. Because we have an amulet, we have a prism helm, and if we have a time hat, you're fully slow protected on your team. That said, Azure picking up a third Mega Elixir does mean if you run into some stupid boss then that just decides that it really doesn't like you, you've got a little bit of insurance in your pocket. But when you're really trying to cut that time, so when you're getting ready to face off in the finals in a couple of weeks and you got to shave every last second, that's one place you can actually save quite a bit of time, is don't sell an extra 50,000 gold worth of stuff. Alright, we're doing a quick eyeball skip. To me, it is debatable whether or not this is worth skipping. Did see a prism specs drop, though, in that chest, so there's some extra damage maybe to throw on Magus, so that if you run into a magic boss, or physical resistant boss, one that you need to do magic damage to, you're slightly better off, because Dark Matter is going to do an extra 200-300 points of damage. And Kyuketsuki already on elevator 1. It really does feel like the time is being cut here just a little bit. Doesn't feel quite so far behind, but running into an extra eyeballs. Does look like we're preparing to run from the fight, though. Heal Beam, finally learned by Robo. You now have AoE healing. And a free elixir dropping. And another elixir. Wow, okay, so you bought a bunch of mega elixirs, a bunch of regular elixirs just dropping like candy. Your healing problems are probably solved by this point. Alright, we have a Dark Mist coming out. Which should... Oh, it doesn't actually kill the Scouters even. Maybe you could use shock to make through and get a triple kill. Instead, the triple kick comes out. It's 1800. That should be enough to pick up a kill. And now the Flyclops taking a couple punches to the face. They fall. Anything good dropping from Tubsters today? Lapises. Hey, so the Scouters have high resistance to elements. The way you kill Scouters is by punching them. Unless you're Luca, and then you're just like, I don't care if you resist my flare. You're still dead. Just completely overpower. Resistance is futile. Speed tab drops. Give Robo a tiny bit more speed. Not using the speed tab? Not using the speed tab. And we get our first... This is where you would normally fight the Giga Mutant, but instead we have ourselves a Lavos spawn. We'll be able to tell fairly soon if it is the Elder Lavos spawn or the young Lavos spawn that would have been on Death Peak. I think with it opening up with the needle spin means that it is the Death Peak lava spawn. So slightly less damage, but a bit more annoying status effects that will come out. Kyuketsuki just leaving the store. So picking up a little bit of time. Kyuketsuki seems will have a bit of an issue with a lava spawn as a boss fight. Ayla, of course, is going to have plenty good single target damage, but Luca and Marl don't. Your best single targets are going to be like Ice 1, Fire 1, Luca using a Wonder Shot. Yeah, chat pointing out Luca did find a Wonder Shot, so in theory, Luca can just one-shot, or not one-shot, but do massive damage to a lava spawn with a Wonder Shot, and it won't matter, as the lava spawn dies in short order. Magus down to 5 HP, and a Silver Stud dropping. So, cheap Dark Matters and triple kicks for the rest of the seed. And that was a very quick fight. You see Kyuketsuki making quicker work of the Ruminators with the Ice 2 as opposed to trying to use Dark Mist. The second elevator comes up. And you're right, it's Terra Arm on Robo. We have not seen a Crisis Arm. And the God Elevator for Azure, 0 fights on elevator number 2. Azure did burn about half the power tabs on Robo this seed. The other half went on to Ayla. So triple kick coming in, getting you the 1800 damage, should take care of good number 1. Robo Tackle comes in for a good 1067, is enough for goon number 2. So not quite as quick as Flare, but much quicker than it was earlier. These Tubsters each have about 1500 HP, so you need to do pretty good damage to one shot. Triple kick does enough. I think maybe Ayla has some specs on for the Prism specs instead of a Silver Stud, because that was a really big punch. And we see Dark Matter and Uzi Punch both last teched, so no fun Beast Tossed. No fun Dark Matter strats, but you do have 2 more bosses in which you might be able to pick up those techs. I didn't see how far away they were for Azure. And yeah, I did see Ayla does have Prism specs, so good damage will come out. You're just going to be a bit MP starved, but you've dropped 3 or 4 different elixirs. You've got a couple of mega elixirs, so shouldn't be too much of a problem. Robot gets overclocked and will now run just slightly faster. As our second mutant spot is the other Lavo spawn. So back-to-back Lavo spawns, which means our last boss is either Terra Mutant, Giga Mutant, or Retinite. Having Elder Lavo spawn here does mean you should get quite a few tech points. So I think we will be okay and should see Uzi Punch before the end of the game. Seeing about 1800 damage, and Lava Spawn 2 dropping very quickly. It'll be very curious to see just how quick Kyuketsuki is able to take care of his Lava Spawn. Because all you're going to have is Triple Kick, Wonder Shot, and Ice. And instead we're seeing Fire Cast. No... You have a Wonder Shot. If only for the memes, you should be using the Wonder Shot. And our final boss that is randomized is Ret Knight. Zombor, technically Zombor, not the Ret Knight. Zombor has left his bridge, flown into the air, and collapsed on his body. Yes, Caillou does have the Wonder Shot equipped. He just isn't using it. So, because I have not actually faced Zombor in Black Omen before, maybe Cecil or someone else who's run some more boss arena than me can tell me, if Zombor does his Doom 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 attack, does it still hit the entire party? It does, okay. I was just curious because obviously on the bridge, it looks like it hits the entire party. I didn't know if maybe they actually gave a boss a directed area attack like you see some of the characters have, or if it was a very flat hit all enemies. And a reset on Kyuketsuki's side. Not having the damage there. No, put the Prism Specs on Ayla, fine. I was gonna say no, put the Prism Specs on Luca and let her Wonder Shot. It's like Atropos doing tackle where it hits the entire party even though it's a single target attack. That's great. Atropos cheats. No wonder Robo left her. Very tanky Zombor is correct. So in Boss Randomizer, the HP is scaled to the location. Here's my answer. Doom 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 doesn't even come from the mouth anymore. And the head is down. MP Buster goes on Robo, so no more Robo tackles for a moment. But there are elixirs to be had. One interesting thing about Zombor being here with higher HP is you're more likely to see what I would call the enraged attacks. So for like the head, the Doom Doom Doom, for the legs, the black hole-like effect where it sucks a character in and tries to eat them. Or the jumping stomp that does AoE damage. But notice that the damage is still only like 45 damage. Alright, so we've got Lightning 2 doing 400 damage, Cat Attack doing 1,000, and Robo Tackle doing just under 1,000. Okay, did he run out of ethers? I mean, you've got a few elixirs. Kyuketsuki does take down the lava spawn while we're sitting here watching the Zombor fight. I did miss that fight, but it seems like round 2 went much smoother. The Drain Attack doing 300 damage. So basically eliminates a character's turn. You've got 3 Mega Elixirs. This would be the time to use one. Uzi Punch and Dark Matter, not learned. Now, I think Robo Tackle's probably going to do more damage than Uzi Punch at this point, just because of the number of power tabs that were thrown onto him. But because it's Zombor, no huge tech point bonus at the very end means no Dark Matter, which isn't a big deal because it's almost useless, but no Uzi Punch. We'll have a shelter here to replenish mana before the final fight against Zeal. We see some weaker armor being put on just to absorb damage from Hexagon Mist and Shadow Gear. I think if I were in Azure's spot, if I'm concerned about mana consumption, I'd be really tempted to replace the Prism specs on Ayla with a Silver Stud and give the Prism specs to Magus so that Dark Bomb actually does something resembling real damage. Alright, so there's the Halation. For Zeal 1, you want to be able to do 5,000 damage. If you can get 5,000 damage in, you will... stay back. It's less than 5,000 damage, I think. Yes, 25... She has 500 damage total. If you can get half of that in, a second Halation will come out. And so basically you take no damage from the second one. Mammoth Machine has 10,000 HP. If you try to burn through Mammoth Machine, you can have some very scary times if you don't get all 10,000 damage out. Alright, using the heal beam to get the heals in quickly, and we've got regular ethers to top everyone's MP back off. A very low health Magus, only 482 HP. A counterattack from the Mammoth Machine is going to be very scary if you do any damage to it. Mammoth Machine does take any magic damage that comes in, converts it to attack, and will return it on you. The physical attacks will start off with good damage, but its defense is going to increase very quickly and make Triple Kick and Robo Tackle kind of weak. Alright, so using Shock gets you another 1,200 damage. That's going to be a fair bit of damage. It looks like Azure is going to wait here for the counterattack. We'll see how damaging it is. Everyone dropped low. Ayla dropped down to 40 HP. But a heal beam from Robo should bring everyone up. And now you've got 4 or 5 turns of relatively risk-free damage. Meanwhile, Kyuketsuki taking on the Lava Spawn in the Terra Mutant spot. Haste being cast on Ayla so that you can get the triple kicks out that much faster. Another heal beam coming out. This is in preparation for both the Zeal 2 fight and just in case Point Flare starts going off. That's a lot of damage. Almost one-shots Magus. But a full tonic will bring him back to full health while Wonder Shots are going off on Kyuketsuki's side. And Mana Machine is down. A Flea Vest is dropped. Unfortunately, you will never have a chance to equip whatever the Mana Machine drops for you. As the Zeal 2 fight will start at roughly 159.50. And with Magus in the party, we will get to hear the alternate battle music, being Magus's theme. So we do get to listen to the best stuff. Now, I saw someone earlier call out White Rock. White Rock did just drop. Robo Tackle coming out for 1100 damage. We saw Triple Kick do 2100 damage. So you're at 32 plus another 9. So right at 4000 damage. It will take 3 rounds to do enough damage to trigger the first halation, which is at 10,000 damage done. That should be quick enough to avoid Shadow Gear. Except Ayla is out of MP, so someone's going to have to drop some MP, which will delay that final attack. Given the damage profile, I would expect it to be Magus. And we have the Zombor fight now occurring on Kyuketsuki's side, as some big damage coming through on the head with the Glacier attack. There's Halation. And a quick laser comes out and knocks Magus unconscious. Do you go for the Mega Elixir now, or do you try to revive first? You have the time during the revive animation. Straight into the Robo Tackle. Everyone at 1 MP. This is really scary. Will someone get an attack? Now Robo will be down. Now we have the Mega Elixir. Ayla and Magus get fully restored. That'll help out with triple kick damage. But you are now missing nearly 1200 damage in the form of Robo. Not having that available runs the risk of seeing Halation come through, or not Halation, a Hexagon Mist. Now, that said, I believe Magus is wearing a blue vest or blue mail, so he will survive the Hexagon Mist. Ayla's wearing blackmail will survive a shadow gear. And instead we have anti-life being cast. If this doesn't kill and a hexagon mist comes out, Azure's going to reset. But he's been counting the HP. That is done. 2:03:14, the official time. That is a bold win. If I've got to assume he was counting HP, because if that didn't kill, that's a possible wipe. And we will see if we cannot get Azure to join us in chat. We'll see if we have gotten the sound fixed on Kyuketsuki's side. It was messing up earlier. We'll just see what that sounds like. Not everything is still slightly out of pitch, which is kind of weird.
Hello.
Azure, welcome! That was a very good run, and a little bit nerve-wracking right there at the end, seeing the anti-life cast off. I was hoping you were counting the HP, because if that didn't work, that hexagon mist that was about to come out would be death.
I think I would have been fine, but yeah. I was counting.
So overall, what did you think of the seed?
Seeds that aren't Mega's Castle do exist.
We were joking as soon as the broken blade showed. I was like, "Oh no, here it comes again."
When I saw Frog, I was half tempted to rename him No.
With good reason.
Yeah. But no, that seed felt real fun. It felt fast, and it's kind of nice. I haven't done Team No Magic in a while, so I was sad we didn't get to continue the Crisis Arm memes.
True. We did see the decision making going into picking up Luca, running back and forth repeatedly. Yes, no, leaving the building and then coming back in.
I mean, you know.
And then not unlocking magic.
And I don't even remember what she had for techs. I don't think I looked.
She Flare and Fire 2 were techs 4 and 5.
Ah. I see Kyuketsuki's running Team Girl Power.
Yep. Struggled a bit early on because it took a while to unlock the AoE techs. Marl didn't get Ice 2 until late, so he was running around with single target magic while you're using AoE, but then started to catch up in Black Omen because he had Flare for the goons.
Yeah.
As we see that Caillou is about to start his Zeal fights. I think.
Hopefully he finishes.
He has stepped away from his chair at least.
Oh. Forfeit just came through in race time.
Alright, well, we will see if he will come and join us for chat 2 then.
Hey.
Kyuketsuki, welcome to the room.
Hey.
How did it go?
Oh, Fire 2, come on.
Fire 2. Fire 2.
Fire 2's last tech?
Yep.
And I saw Dark Matter and Uzi Punch were last techs for Magus and Robo, so no one got what they wanted today.
I'm still shocked that you cleared it that fast. Did you get the Magus Castle Go mode or something?
No, same go mode.
trying to think of how I could approach that one better. Just like I don't have much trust in complete girl strats, but like I should have probably rocked Robo instead at that point, gone with Team Slowpoke, and because at least at that point I'd have ice tackle, which would probably have been faster with the Terror Arm.
Yeah, I went Team No Magic Unlock, and it worked really well for me.
There you go. That's a good comp. Everyone likes a good Beast Toss.
Except you don't get it
because you don't get it.
Because Uzi Punch was last tech. So
I got to use Boogie Strats twice. That made me happy.
Yeah, I don't know much faster way to kind of clear through that one, because I'm still thinking through myself. It's like, like you could rock Flare, Dark Matter, but even then, like you're gonna struggle against the Lavoses.
Yeah, I had the real strong. Robo Tackle was still strong even without Crisis Arm, and Prism Specs on Triple Kick. It made my Lava spawns pretty quick.
Yeah, my Lava spawns, even with Prism Specs, were only doing about 2250. So I was like,
what we wanted to see was Wonder Shots with Prism Specs.
I did actually did it on the first one.
Yes.
But I'm just kind of relieved to be out of the tournament finally. So, thank you, Azure. It's like I was stressed out the entire night, and it's just like it's not been conducive. So,
well, I see, it was really close at the end there. You're only like a room or two behind me, so
yeah.
Thanks for the great race. I look forward to watching that one back.
The race was very close. Caillou had the lead early. Got into the Cathedral faster. And I'm not really sure at what point it really flipped around. It felt like just the order of bosses was slightly different, so that the bosses where you could do more damage were taken on later by Azure. So maybe that's the difference. I think it would definitely be a good race to go back and rewatch to see what the difference is with hindsight.
Oh no, all texts were crap today. That's basically my hindsight on this entire.
Well, I'm disappointed that Azure didn't bring Frog back in once he found the Grand Leon.
Why would you bring Frog back?
Because you have the Grand Leon, and it's awesome. And
it's still Frog.
Oh, it's still Frog, but you have the Grand Leon.
Magic.
Look, there's only one category you should ever use Frog in, and that's the Legacy of Ceres, because he's required.
No, Frog is fine.
I actually like using Frog, not gonna lie.
If you get, like, Hero Metal, Grand Leon, and some power tabs, Bubble...
He can be a subpar Ayla and a subpar Robo.
No, you combine him with Ayla and you get Bubble Kick, Bubble Drop.
Drop Kick.
Drop Kick.
If you drop kick, it's its only good deck.
It's really good if you end up with a Lavos Go mode. And...
It is really good for left bit strats.
And Chad is pointing out now the Bubble Snap strats, because of how the tech is calculated, where it's like double Frog damage if you had Grand Leon Hero Metal. So he and Robo actually combine well together now.
Oh, so that's why I was actually doing so much damage when I was doing some of my Legacy Osiris runs recently. Well, at least I know why it's doing that, as opposed to thinking it's magic from Frog. Again, mysteries of text. Woo!
There's a lot of things that we're still finding out on a day-by-day basis.
Maybe someday everyone will get everything we've learned so far and down into a document.
Someday.
Nice. Someday.
Yep.
But GG AzureCale. Good luck with SUJ. When you guys schedule that one. I finally get into Black Gum and Go mode, and then no good text to actually clear quickly. Oh
well. Speaking of, do you know when you and SUJ are scheduled? Did y'all pre-schedule?
I reached out, but I have not heard back.
Okay.
But I'm assuming
sometime
in the next 2 days.
I was gonna say sometime in the next 2 days.
Yeah.
We will have AzureCale versus St. Von Jester. Hopefully on SG. It might end up back here. And then the winner of that will be taking on Dipwood for the finals. Any last thoughts before we close it out?
No, thanks for the great race, and I can't wait to watch it. Thanks for commentating and tracking and restreaming.
Absolutely. And big thanks to akuheish for dropping in and helping out with the tracking right as the race started. That was a huge help. So big thanks there. And big thanks to all the chat for showing up and having some discussion, interesting talks, a little bit of deep dives in the Chrono Trigger lore. Great fun. Thank you all for coming and watching. And we're going to go check to see what all we can go raid. The answer is obviously something on Speed Gaming, because right now they're about they are on all the time. We have Link to the Past going on. Gaming 3. So again, thanks everyone tonight for coming out, and we will see you for the next race, either here or on SG in sometime in the next 48 hours. Hope you all have a good one, and we'll see you next run.